Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and early, 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, here we go again. As I was making and downloading the last video that I was so angry about, there was the local news came on here at my place, and I watched, and the exact same situation happened about at a town called Cheshire. We'll just name the town, a Cheshire Town Meeting. Not even 10 miles from where I'm sitting. And the same type of people, the same bullying behavior, the same ridiculous rhetoric. I think this speaks to the kind of people. And if you look, okay, there's thousands of kids enrolled in these schools. And we're talking about a group of really just 3 or 4 men and their women that just surrounded and came close to assaulting our governor, Governor Lamont, our Democrat governor, who Trump supporters absolutely despise, of course. All right, I gave this some thought about masks. Let's just start. I don't need numbers. I don't need statistics. Let's just use common sense here for a second, okay? Like surgeons, hospitals, doctors, medical professionals have been using masks and gloves for decades. Did you ever watch MASH? Did you see what they wear in the operating room? Let's just think about this for 1 second. This virus is transmitted through the air into the mouth and nasal cavities. That's how it's passed. That's how it leaves one person. That's how it enters another person, right? Basic facts we're talking about here. The nasal cavity mainly is how it's transmitted. Putting cloth, now if you look at the size, like the microns, the size of these viruses compared to, air molecules and all that, fabric does stop them. These masks do work. Nothing's 100% completely effective all the time. But if you just look at the basic, we've been doing this for decades. I mean, I can't believe these people, like in these videos, they're calling them diapers and all this other ridiculous stuff. Would these same people go into surgery or have a colonoscopy or whatever? Would they allow a doctor to operate, cut them open if the doctor didn't wear a mask, didn't wear gloves? Hey, hell, why even wash your hands at that point? Would these same people be okay with that? Because that's what they're talking about here. I don't need statistics here. It's common sense. All right, now let's talk about these kids. Like I said, I don't have numbers, but if you look in the southern states, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, an overwhelming thousands of kids have been infected in the last couple of weeks. It keeps going up every week. Some of these kids haven't been approved for vaccinations yet. It's not the same. This variant is different from the original variant. Now, when I was a kid, let's say, okay, these Trump supporters and these conservatives, they love the good old days, right? Go back to the good old days. All right, let's talk about the good old days. Back when I was a kid, I got my vaccination. Remember that? I don't know if was it mumps, rubella, mumps, smallpox, whatever it was. I remember standing in line when I was, I had to be 5, 6 years old, maybe not even. Standing in line with all the other kids waiting to get the shot from the nurse. If we didn't get that shot, that was required. If we didn't get that shot, we didn't go to school. We all did that. Why do these people have such a hard time with this now? This masks, it's basic. It's not even medical. It's just basic logic that this is how the virus is transmitted. This is how it passes from one person to the other. A mask, of course, if you look at the microns, the size of the virus, the cloth does stop, the layers do stop the transmission of this. Common sense, man. It's not about control. The Democrats, the deep state want to control you. First it's this, and then they're going to be, what if they just stop for a second with this political nonsense. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about what happened in Cheshire. See, this is the thing. The people in Cheshire almost are an exact duplicate of what happened in the last video I showed you in Michigan. It's a couple guys, all angry, all upset, and it's the same bullying behavior. It's the same bullying behavior that our Governor Lamont today, or I think it was last night or this morning, released a statement saying that he is not going to give in to this bullying behavior. That, it's what I just said, the common medical, just common logic that this stuff is, we're trying to protect the kids and people from this virus. All right, let's talk about this video for a second. In this video, I'll put the link down below. All the stations around here, the CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, all carried it. I'll put the link. I saw it on Fox. I'll put the link to Fox down below, my local Fox network. All right. Starts off with this rotund, overweight gentleman complaining about masks. There's another gentleman standing next to him. And this is unbelievable. This, I guarantee this is going to make it to national news. He's holding a baby, an infant, right? And then he's yelling something about, what are you're going to do? You're going to mask the babies next? And he's bouncing the kid up and down. He clamps his hand in the mask on top of his infant's face, nose and mouth. And he's yelling, you're gonna do this to the kids? What are you gonna do this to the babies next? He's abusing his son to make a point, a nonsense political point. And he keeps his hand over the kid's mouth and nose, covering not just the mask, but his hand clamped onto the mask, pushing down on his kid's face. This is, I would be shocked if this doesn't become a news story in itself. All right. Then it goes to outside, where the governor is trying to leave. This meeting started off. It started off in a roundtable discussion, and this group of people with this bullying behavior, it just deteriorated into this. This outside is where really you see the same rotund gentleman, and he's using his weight. There's one guy trying to protect the governor. I'm surprised the governor didn't have more bodyguards around him. And he's trying to protect the governor. And this rotund anti-mask guy is you can see him leaning into, using all of his tubby weight, trying to physically push into the governor. While the women, I presume the wife of these couple gentlemen, come around, they're screaming into the face. They look like, for all intents and purposes, it looks like they are about this close to actually physically assaulting the governor. The women coming around one side, yelling into the governor's face. This other rotund guy pushing into the one person that's protecting the governor. And again, this is the point I want to make. It's not just the behavior, it's the same kind of bullying behavior that even the governor talked about it in his statement, that he's not going to give in to this bullying behavior. And this rhetoric that he did in the last video, where they're comparing this to diapers, and can you smell your own flatulence, and comparing people to the 1940s era German soldiers. Oh, God, just stop for a second and listen to yourselves. You know what? They're right. They have every right to raise their children as they want. I agree with that. But if you're going to let your kids, if you're not going to use these mitigation factors, the masks, or when the vaccines do come available, if you insist on not covering your kids' face, then they shouldn't be allowed back in school. Just like I wouldn't have been allowed back in school back when I had to get a vaccine. Just like these guys in this video had to get the vaccine. I'm sure they're the same age as me. Hey, if they don't want to mask their kids, fine, but those kids should not be allowed in school to endanger other kids. Your freedom, your parenting stops there when you are endangering the other kids in that school. And if you think about it, these parents, these families are, seem to have no consideration for other people's safety. It's all about their freedoms. So there's a good chance that these same parents are going to concerts, are going to Trump rallies, or whatever, these super spreader events, coming back, and these where their kids are in contact with them. And then there's no way, if I had kids, and I don't have kids, But I still feel this is one situation where I do feel strongly about this in general, because this isn't just about kids. In the video yesterday, the guy tried to say that he's not against masks. It sure sounded like he was against masks, calling them diapers and all this other Nuremberg nonsense. It's not just about the kids here, you know, and I don't blame other parents one bit for wanting their kids protected. There's a poll out too where DeSantis is losing a lot of favorability amongst everybody. One of the numbers I saw was like 61% of all voters, including Republicans, agree that there should be masks in schools. I'll see if I could find that. It's a recent, I think it's a Quinnipiac poll. I'll see if I can find that, and I'll talk about that in my next video. You guys have a great Thursday.